Hello there. My name is Mylin, and I'm going to share with you the story of how my dad lived a depressed life over having 20 daughters. Before we continue with my life story, like this video and hit the subscribe button. We're a pretty well-off family. However, despite of our wealth, my dad was constantly sad. He desperately longed for a son. He and my mom kept on trying until they had 20 children, all of which are girls. Some of you may be thinking, what's the big deal about not having a son? Well, my family still held on to the traditional belief that sons have more value than daughters. It sounds very discriminating, right? We all felt it growing up. Our family believed that our dad was cursed by his ex-girlfriend. You see, back when he was in college, he dated a girl from a poor family named Lena. She was very beautiful and was adored in campus. Despite her poverty, she was labeled as the campus goddess. My dad thought that dating someone really good-looking would boost his reputation. So he wooed her, and she fell in love with him. Unfortunately, my dad didn't feel the same. You see, he came from an affluent family. He wanted to marry someone of the same social status. My dad planned to break up with Lena after college and never see her again. And that was exactly what my dad did. A few weeks after their breakup, Lena came to see my dad. She had gotten fat and her nose became bigger. "What happened to you?" my dad asked her. "I'm 5 months pregnant with our son. Zhang Ling, I hope you will take responsibility for this. I cannot raise this child on my own. As you know, my family is poor," Lena explained. Apparently, my dad and Lena had been doing naughty things while they were dating, and it led to the conception of the baby. Instead of being happy that he was having a child, my dad got really mad instead. He just graduated from college, and he had planned to take over the family business. He told Lena that the baby and her would hinder his plans for his life, and told her to abort the baby. Lena refused to kill her own child, and in Dad's anger, he pushed Lena away. She fell and bled a lot. Dad took her to the hospital. Unfortunately, she had a miscarriage. On that same year, my grandparents arranged for him to marry the daughter of another influential family, my mom. On the day of their wedding, Lena appeared at the hotel reception. She looked very different than when she was in college. Gone was the campus goddess. Instead, the woman who stood before them was all skin and bones. Her face was gaunt and gray, and she looked emaciated, like she hadn't eaten anything for months. She entered the wedding reception, bringing a small coffin with a black ribbon on top. She wailed loudly as she walked on the aisle, terrifying all the guests. She placed the coffin before my parents. "Behold your son, and the only son that you will ever have in your entire life. I curse you, Zhang Ling. You will never be able to have a son because you murdered the one you could have had." She wailed even louder. The hotel security escorted her after that upon the command of my grandparents. And to save reputation, they made everyone believe that Lena was crazy. The family simply disregarded her curse, affirming among themselves that Lena had indeed lost her mind. Soon after that, my parents heard news that Lena had killed herself over the grief of losing her child. When my eldest sister, Chen Lin, was born, my grandparents were not at all concerned and encouraged my parents to try again so they can have a son. My parents tried, and they had a second daughter, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth, and so on. Every child that has been born into the family has all been female. The family started to fear that Lena's curse might be true. My parents finally gave up trying when I, the 20th child, was born. However, my dad lived a sad life every day. He would smile at us over the dinner table, but the sadness in his eyes was so obvious. I think he deeply regretted what he did to Lena and their son. Over the years, my dad's depression and insanity grew. We got the shock of our lives when we found out that he had his penis surgically removed. Right now, my dad is already in his 70s. Every day he would stare into the horizon from the balcony of his mansion, and tears would fall from his eyes. We would try to cheer him up, but we all knew that we could never fill the sadness and regret he felt over the death of our supposedly older brother. Do you believe in curses? Tell us what you think and leave your thoughts in the comment section below.